Who can spy with impunity? The answer, a blind person. This piano player frequently pretended to be blind while playing at other people's homes. He'd witnessed many secrets and thoroughly enjoyed it. Little did he know that pretending to be blind would become his biggest regret. One day, he received an invitation from a wealthy man to perform at his home. The rich man's wife opened the door, but strangely seemed reluctant to let him in. The pianist was confused, but had already been paid, so he insisted on entering. During their argument, an elderly woman from across the hall emerged due to the noise, forcing the wife to let him in. After helping the man sit down, he was delighted. He'd never played such a luxurious piano before. As he skillfully performed, he suddenly jumped in fright. A dead body was lying in the corner of the room. The music stopped abruptly. Terrified, he asked to use the bathroom only to discover a large man with a gun hiding inside. The pianist was extremely frightened but had to continue his blind act. Returning to the living room, he pretended to play piano while watching the woman and the gunman dispose of the body. Under the wife's cover, the gunman successfully escaped. Fortunately, the pianist's acting wasn't discovered, and he safely left. He immediately took a taxi to the police station to report what he'd witnessed. When the sheriff approached him, to his horror, he realized it was the same gunman from earlier. Feeling the sheriff's intense stare, he quickly changed his story, claiming his cat had been killed. The sheriff didn't believe him and went to Arthur's home to look for evidence that he was faking blindness. The sheriff picked up a newspaper and asked Arthur if he read it. Arthur cleverly replied that he used it to clean up after his cat. Still suspicious, the sheriff conducted tests in front of Arthur, who remained calm and didn't flinch, successfully fooling the sheriff. The next day, the wealthy man's body was discovered by the riverside. His wife claimed he had left home with $10 million, leading everyone to believe it was a robbery murder. The sheriff had planted the wealthy man's watch in a bathroom, and the greedy man who found it became the unfortunate scapegoat. Fearing for his life, Arthur gave false testimony at the police station. He thought the matter was resolved, but another murder case was waiting for him. At the wealthy man's funeral, Arthur was invited to play piano. One elderly woman, the wealthy man's neighbor, told the police she had seen a large man enter the house earlier than both the wealthy man and Arthur that day. The police confronted the wife, but she brushed them off with a few excuses. Meanwhile, the wealthy man's daughter approached Arthur, asking him to teach her a piece her father loved. Out of guilt, Arthur agreed. But when he prepared to visit their home the next day, he unexpectedly witnessed something shocking. Due to copyright restrictions, we can only show this much of the film. The movie is called The Piano Tuner.